Hey everybody, it's Brian from the Brian Riley team. This is the Brian Riley team podcast. Shout out to the team. I'm Brian, of course, of the Brian Riley team. I already said that. Shout out to Jeremy. Shout out to Jen. Shout out to Lisa. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Deneen, our administrative coordinator on the team. Shout out to all of our clients. If you are a client of ours, somebody that we've shown a house to, somebody that's purchased a house, sold a house, invested in real estate here in Pittsburgh, leave a comment. Let us know that you're supporting the podcast as well as supporting our business. We appreciate you. If you're watching this and we haven't done business together yet, we'd love to help you. If you are not in the market to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, but you're following the market, you've got questions on the market, you're in the right place because there's a ton of information out there nowadays about what's happening in real estate. Pittsburgh is no different in that sense. However, Pittsburgh is very different than a lot of the other markets when it comes to the actual data and the actual facts of what's happening. Let's just dive right into the interest rates and what interest rates are doing, because that is the topic of discussion. That's the big thing that everybody's been talking about. Rates went up in the fall. Of course, rates were historically low over and over again. Every couple months, they were getting to a new historical low. That was happening for the last 2 or 3 years. Of course, rates were already low. Back when I bought my first house in 2012, the rate was 3.25. It was the lowest it had ever been in 25 years or something like that. And everybody told me rates aren't going to be this low for long. Never going to see that rate again. You got in at the right time. And again, that was 2012. The rates pretty much stayed there. I got my license in 2016. They went up a little bit in 2018. The market started to get crazy. Inventory was low. I don't know. I guess everybody thought the market was crashing. Maybe not. I was 2 years in the business. A lot of my peers were 25 and 30 years in the business, so they've probably seen all kinds of stuff. However, now we're dealing with a different market altogether. This post-COVID market where I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of real estate agents that are out there right now have been in the business for 3 years or less. They don't even remember 2018. All they know is that the rates have been 2.5% and then they went up to 7% and the market completely stopped. Now, the reality of what happened there is the market always stops in August and September. At least it feels like a stop when you go from 100 miles an hour in May and then into June. July starts to slow down, but sometimes not for everybody, right? If you're an agent in the business and you really just got rolling in May, you might still feel like you're pretty busy in July. You might go on vacation or several vacations in the month of August and then get your kids back in school in September and wake up in October and not have too much going on. The consumers out there, the buyers and the sellers, are really kind of dealing with that same cycle. Now, for us full-time agents who are in the business all the time, year-round, of course, we see all of the ups and downs. And the last few years, we've seen where it seems like the market has hit a wall in late August, early September, right up pretty much through October. This year was no different. The fact that the rates went up to 7% really impacted it a little bit more than usual, although in hindsight, probably not very much, because what we're starting to see now as we're getting closer to spring, the real estate market typically the last few years has started in January or early February, which is right where we're at now. It's Groundhog's Day. And, speaking of Groundhog's Day, I'm not going to make any corny jokes, but it feels like Groundhog's Day because it's starting to feel a lot like January, February of 2022 and January and February of 2021, because we're seeing bidding wars, we're seeing lines outside of listings, we're seeing more listings coming on the market, we're seeing some prices that are not as surprising as they were last year. I will say that 2021 and 2022, we'd see a house come on the market and we're like, my God, that house is not going to sell for that. And then 5 hours later, it's sold. And like, who was buying that, right? We haven't really seen that. If anything, I've seen some agents who I think are a little bit behind that I'm seeing some prices that are really low. And I'm like, my God, that price is like $100,000 low. What did they tell their clients about the state of the market? And then of course those houses they've got lines outside and they've got multiple offers, 5, 6, 7, 10 offers, and they're probably going way over the asking price. Although I don't think as many buyers right now are waiving home inspections. I don't think as many buyers right now are waiving all their contingencies. I don't think there's as much money kind of freely floating around out there right now with the state of a lot of people's retirement accounts, which if you really dig deep into it was probably the source of a lot of those cash offers and cash purchases that people have been making the last few years. I think they were borrowing from retirement accounts, taking distributions from their retirement accounts because there was so much in there and the market was performing so well. That has definitely changed. The point is, the good news, if you are looking to buy a home this year in 2023, it's not totally crazy yet. It might not get totally crazy if we're using 2021 and 2022 as kind of the standard or the bar for what is considered crazy. But it is going to feel a lot like the beginning of 2018, 2019. It was a seller's market then. It's been a seller's market ever since. Even in the fall, there were still more buyers out there than there were listings, if that makes sense. Just because the market slowed down did not mean that it became a buyer's market. You're always going to have some sellers that need to sell right now that will take whatever offer they can get, but those sellers are few and far between. We had sellers that sat on the market all fall and said, if the right offer comes in, it'll come in. We're going to fix up. If not, we're going to fix up the house. We weren't going to do that until spring anyways. It didn't hurt us to list the house in the fall. We got some feedback. Now we have a better idea of what we need to do in the spring when we're ready to sell. And when they come on the market here in the next couple weeks or in the next month or two, I would assume and I would predict is a better word to use. I don't want to say I would assume, but I would predict that if things stay kind of the same as they are right now, the market's only going to get better and better, and we're probably going to see those houses sell for even more than the prices that they didn't sell in the fall. And again, if you factor in improvements and stuff, of course, that would be the case. One thing that I'm getting a lot more of this year than I've gotten in years past is people asking me about investment properties, purchasing an investment property. I've done a lot of videos on this on social media. I did a whole series of, story posts on Instagram talking about different investment strategies. One of the ones that we love the most on our team, at least I do, I don't know, Jeremy did a flip earlier this year, so I think he likes that, but I like buy and hold rental properties, cash flowing rental properties. I've had a lot of people asking me about purchasing rental properties, and I think that goes back to the whole thing about the stock market and kind of the condition of the stock market. When people see that their stocks are not performing very well, again, people's memories are short, right? So if you saw your stocks returning like 20 and 30% a couple years ago, you were like, oh my God, making money is so easy, right? That's why inflation happened, essentially. Of course, most people never actually got to see that money, and then those accounts drop back down, but that's a whole nother thing. I'm not an expert on the stock market. All I know is that right now, some of those same people are like, oh my God, my money's gone. Where did it go? When is it going to come back? And why, if I'm lucky, I'll get a 3% return, but I might lose money actually by the end of the year. With stock markets, with the rental, real estate investment market, any kind of investment, I don't think you should be looking at what's happening on a month to month. I think you need to look at year over year. And when people are looking year over year at real estate and realizing, hey, a 10% return didn't sound all that great the last couple of years based on what the stock market was doing, but it sounds pretty good right now based on what the stock market is doing. So we've been talking to people about that. Of course, we've got clients that invest in multifamily properties, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, which is what we would consider residential real estate. Once you get into 5-unit buildings and above that, that's kind of considered commercial. Of course, they could be residential use. People are living in them, but that's considered commercial real estate by most definitions, legal and financing and everything else. So we don't really get into that too much. We focus primarily on residential real estate. And another thing that we've noticed an uptick in the last few years is people buying single family homes to rent them out. It used to be where if you paid $100,000 for a single family house in a neighborhood like Westview and it rented for $950 a month, that wasn't all that great of an investment. If you went to get a mortgage on that property, if you were putting 20% down and all of that, your mortgage payment might have been $700, so you could clear a couple $100 a month there. Now what we're seeing is areas, especially like in the city, where you can go and buy a property for $100,000, because you can't really buy a $100,000 property in Westview anymore. In the city you can, and those properties still rent out for $1,100, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month, or sometimes even more, right? So let's just say like purchase price of $80,000 to $130,000. That's the rental range, probably $1,100 to $1,400. And that can be appealing, especially when you look at the city of Pittsburgh and you look at lower property taxes compared to some of the surrounding suburbs and school districts. So, I think, why wouldn't you do that, right? Why would you put money in a retirement account that you can't touch? You can look at it on a computer screen and watch it go up and down and go, oh no, I had 300,000, now I only have 180, right? Of course, over the course of 30 years, you're gonna have more money than what you put in. But what about real estate? What if you went out and bought 3 or 4 single family homes for $500,000 total investment? Again, look at the money that you have sitting in your stock market account. That is not that much money, especially if you utilize financing. If you're putting 20% down on those homes, that's $125,000. You don't have to do it today. What if you purchased 3 or 4 investment properties over the course of the next 3 or 4 years? Purchase them for $125,000 each. Rental income, $4,000 to $5,000 a month. Again, if you're using mortgages, you might have mortgage payments of $3,000 to $4,000 per month. Now, of course, you have to qualify for those mortgages, which means your income is going to need to be, probably $10,000 to $12,000 household income. But you may be able to find an investor or a mortgage company, some sort of financial lender that would be willing to include rental income as part of your debt to income calculation, right? Especially on that third and fourth one, if you've already got 1 or 2 properties with a history of performing. Probably getting a little bit more into the details than I even needed to, but I don't want to mislead people by letting them think that they can go out there, if they've already got a $2,000 mortgage payment, they can go out there and get $4,000 more in mortgage payments, which would be $6,000 at a 40% debt to income. I don't know what that is, but it's about $10,000 a month, I guess. But over time, a lot of different things can happen. So let's just back up for a second and digress. We're talking about $4,000 to $5,000 a month income, $3,000 to $4,000 in mortgage payments. That's $1,000 to $2,000 a month cash flow or profit. For some of you, that could be like having another job or working another 40-hour week within each month. That right there in and of itself is huge. It's not probably, that could be life-changing, right? You're still gonna have to work. It's not gonna be a total change of lifestyle, but $1,000 a month is pretty decent. But think about long-term, think about year over year. First of all, those rents are gonna go up, but the mortgage payment's gonna stay the same, unless you refinance or something like that, which is getting into a whole nother investment strategy when we start looking at BRR or BRR as it's now being called, it seems like everywhere I turn. The value of those properties is going to go up. You bought 4 properties for $125,000 each. In 10 years, what are they going to be worth? $200,000 each? Maybe. 3% per year for 10 years. Let's just call that 30% on 125. Let's just say 40. So yeah, you're talking about 165. So let's say each property makes 30 to 40,000. Let's say $40,000 in appreciation over the next 10 years. There's 4 of them. So you just made $160,000 right there in your appreciation. How about after 30 years when those mortgages are paid off and now that $1,000 a month or whatever you're getting at that point from your rental income, you just knock $3,000 or $4,000 a month off, no longer having a mortgage payment. And you can do this with 15-year financing as well. It's going to change the numbers, obviously, but the concept still stands. An extra $4,000 or $5,000 a month in residual income, essentially, that's coming in. Now, this is before expenses. You've got to pay property taxes. You've got hazard insurance, maintenance. You probably got some vacancy over the course of 30 years. You're never going to not have a month where there's not a tenant who's moving out or something like that, and you've got a vacant unit sitting there for a couple weeks. But we could dig deeper into these numbers, and I think that you would find that it's going to be really hard for the stock market to rival or to compete or to beat that, right? Some people think, oh my God, I got $3 million in my stock market account. Well, take that $3 million and then try to live off of it for 25 years if you retire at 55 and live until you're 80, or retire at 60 and live until you're 85, right? Like, that's not working out all that great for a lot of people, especially when you consider appreciation and everything else going on. With a rental property, yeah, things are going to appreciate, but the rents are going to go up. So that $4,000 to $5,000 a month income that works great right now is even better 10 years from now, assuming that you keep raising the rent. Is it going to make you rich? No, but would that $4,000 or $5,000 a month income probably rival, your salary and put you in a much better place to retire? Again, rents are going to go up, salaries are going to go up, appreciation, but you get what I'm saying. You were not going to have to sit there and watch Coca-Cola make some dumb move that makes their stock price go down by half. Even though people are still buying Coca-Cola and probably will forever, that has nothing to do with their stock price, because the stock market is dumb like that. Obviously, you can tell why I'm a big believer and a big proponent of real estate. It just so happens that I know a lot more about it now than when I got into the business in 2016. But I mean, why do you think I chose real estate of all of the things that I could transition into from what I was doing before? Is because I was just starting to see, if you read books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and some of these other books that I was diving into at the time, anything by Grant Cardone, all these guys are talking about real estate. And I thought, that's a business that I want to be in. And now there's a lot of reasons why, for the first time since I've been in the business, I think it makes a lot of sense to be purchasing single family properties, using them as, again, cash flow, rental income. You take the cash flow, take that $1,000 a month profit and put it in your 401k or your stock account if you really think that the stock market is doing that great. 360 payments at $1,000 a month, that's $360,000. Your $3 million in your 401k might just become $6, or 10, the way that compound interest works over time. So there's multiple strategies, there's multiple ways to do it. But I think that that's the reason why a lot of our clients have been reaching out to us about this strategy. And I know I'm starting to look at it and think that I should be more proactive about reaching out to our clients who haven't reached out to me yet and saying, hey, you've been in your house for 3 or 4 years. Are you guys thinking about purchasing any investment properties? If you're watching this, again, if you're a client, you commented, let us know that you're here. We appreciate you. We support you. I'd love to work with all of my clients again a second time. Fortunately, most of them are happy in their homes. Of course, some people are going to move again. It's been 4 or 5 years, 6 years for some of these clients, I guess going on 7 years. But, if we can work together, help you set aside a solid plan, not set aside, but come up with a solid plan for your retirement and your investments, why would we not do that? Let's do it. Let's dive into real estate together and make some things happen. Get you set up for your retirement and make it so that you got an extra $1,000 a month coming in, and you don't have to look at the stock market and what your 401ks go down every single month. So that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. This is a shorter podcast than what we've been doing. Obviously, I'm by myself here, so we'll see. We'll probably do some long ones, some short ones. Next one might be a different camera angle, might be a different room or a different building altogether. But for now, that's it. I'm going to wrap all this podcast stuff up and then get back to the real real estate work, getting on the phone and calling our clients and talking to them about buying, selling, and investing in real estate. So I'll catch you guys later. Like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Again, comment if you didn't already. If you're still watching this far, we appreciate you. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next episode.